Hi, good evening, everyone, brothers and sisters. It's Friday evening again, and it's the time to have another foundations session. So we're going to be starting tonight with an icebreaker. So be ready to answer the questions and learn more about yourself, perhaps. Okay, so here we go. First question is, how are you feeling today? So you're able to answer here. The day was okay, but my attitude is still great. Amazing. Feeling much better now that Foundations has started. Practicing gratitude today, which is looking at it in a positive way. Okay, people are still coming in. So if you're just joining now, welcome. And if you're quick, then perhaps you're still able to take part in the first question of the poll. So most people are feeling amazing. That's great. Okay, next question. If I saw a cat on the street, what would you do? I would meow at it and move on. I would try to pet it. I would take a picture of it. I would take it home with me. I would ignore it. I'm a dog person. What say you? Okay, most people would meow at it. Well, I kind of thought that everybody was a bit strange, but now it's confirmed. Okay, some people trying to pet it. No dog persons on this call. Disappointing. Okay, let's move on to the third question. My favorite food is Korean because I'm so connected to True Father. Italian because you can do many things with pasta. McDonald's because again, so connected to True Father. Vegan because I'm better than everyone else. We can also count vegetarians here, I think. Or I only eat dessert. Choose the option which is most like you. Okay, so I think that a lot of people are very happy with Korean, but there's also some naughty people who only eat desserts. Italian comes as a good second. Okay, let's go on the next question. How many times a day do you pray? Ooh, the question to your conscience. 3 times only for meals because I love food. The whole time I'm awake because life is a prayer. Whenever my parents make me do it. Well, 3 times for meals because I'm grateful for my food. Or whenever I'm in trouble. Which answer is most like you? Okay, people living prayerful lives. And people getting into trouble as well. I hope that just means that you're getting into trouble a lot. Okay. And some meal. People grateful for meals as well. Okay, great. Well, welcome everyone also to all of those who have joined. Since we first started, it's really nice to see you and happy Friday evening. So we started with some icebreakers. And next I'm going to invite you to join me in prayer. Good evening, Heavenly Parent. It's Friday again, and we're meeting with brothers and sisters to share this time together and to listen to some different guidance. We know that there are so many people who have many interesting experiences, and we're grateful that we have this opportunity to learn from others, to learn from other people's experiences and knowledge. And that's something that we can really help to also build our own lives and use it to live better lives. We're grateful that we have this community here, and also tonight our topic is on community. And one of the things we're really grateful for is that we have a community that we can be part of. Which a lot of people in the world are lonely, but we're so grateful that we at least have also always this community that we can turn to, and that's something really amazing. We pray that you can bless all the speakers tonight and the participants and their families, and we want to invite you to be with us. Heavenly Parent, this we pray in all of our names, Jew. All right, so thanks all for being so active and taking part in the icebreakers. So yeah, as I was saying in my prayer tonight, our topic is improving your community, building your tribe, and more specifically, elements of a healthy community. So we have three speakers tonight, three interesting speakers from Czech Republic and Austria and America. And in addition to that, we're going to be looking at your amazing and creative videos that you have prepared. And again, we have some questions and answers and some exercises as well. So yeah, let's get started. Yeah, so as I was saying, community is our topic tonight, and I'm sure it's very precious for a lot of us that have grown up in this movement. Also, for those who have joined it, community seems always to be a very important element. But how can we improve it, and how can we, make it even better? And importantly, what can I do also to contribute to that? Because community isn't something that somebody else makes; it's something that all of us make. So first of all, we're going to be checking the videos that everyone has created. We have the videos of 3 teams, and we're very excited to be able to show those. So thank you so much for those who have submitted them, and let's get started.
Just like every morning, Heavenly Parent tries to connect with his children. Today is Aryan's turn. Ooh, and he starts his day strong.
My dear son, I am so happy to start the day with you. It's such a pleasure to meet you every morning, and I'm looking forward to spending the rest of the day with you.
Aww, looks like God is happy. And Aryan is too.
But something is fishy here.
Ooh, the music is so terrible over there. Let me mute my TV screen, quickly.
And he doesn't stop here. And not even here.
What are you doing over there? Get away from there.
And also here.
What are you doing over there? Just go away from there. My head is hurting. Aryan, is this the culture you're supposed to spread in the world? I'm causing me such a headache. Oof. Just stop. I better call him. Where is his phone number? Oh, I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Aryan. It's ringing. He's not picking up the phone. I'm calling you. Please answer. Hey, I'm calling you.
After 40 missed calls, Aryan finally calls back.
God, I'm sorry for hurting you today, for putting so much distance between us.
After that, Aryan continues to have daily calls with God. So guys, let's heal God's headache answering his call. Let's create a culture of Hyojang.
Thanks for the first team. I just wish that every time I open the DP, Robin would just appear in front of me and just share his wisdom. Yeah, amazing editing. So let's go to the team 2 video next.
Good evening, my name is Faustino and I'm representing Team 2. The concept that we decided to go with is laziness. Laziness has been one of God's headache since the beginning of time. One of the stories that we have in the Bible is Abraham's story. Abraham was given a task by God to divide all animals. But while doing that, he became lazy and decided to rest. While resting, Satan was able to come in between and destroy all the work that he did before. That made God lose faith in Abraham. So this shows us that laziness has always been part of our society, even in today's world. So in order to explain it a little bit better, we decided to do a small sketch. So I will now give the floor to the rest of my team.
Wait, what time is it? Shoot, I forgot. We have homework at 6:30. Oh, and I haven't done any homework. I'm literally doing nothing. Maybe I should call the doctor. Maybe she has some... Hi, well, I'm Essie, and I'm just calling because I have this problem where I can't do anything. I'm just procrastinating all day and all night, and I don't know if you guys have something to give me, because this is a serious problem.
I'm very sorry to hear about your procrastination problem, but great news, because we've met so many people with this problem before. As a team, we've come up with a great solution also. So I actually have these great pills for you to try.
So the doctor gave me these pills. I wonder what will happen.
A few moments later.
I feel really motivated. Let's do something.
Maybe I will do everything tomorrow again, and I will keep on doing the homework every week on time.
But our lives are way more complex than that. We have to fight very, very hard to overcome our laziness. But you may ask yourselves, how we do that? First, we have to find a purpose in our lives. We need to know why are we doing something on the long run. But how do we find motivation? That is a tricky question. You have to remember, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So, how do we act? How do we start? You may wonder. We can start by reading Hunoki every day, by reading through mother speeches. We pray, we attend Sunday services, we attend European and Middle East prayer call every Wednesday. Or you can join Hyojong Academy, where they push you to do your homework and so many other things. So congratulations, you relieve God's headache and overcome your laziness.
Awesome job. Thanks, team 2. Yeah, that was very nicely put together videos. I think I need some of those pills as well. Next, we're going to have up team 5.
So, hello everyone. Thank you for coming for this urgent meeting today. Unfortunately, God has some headache again. And so I thought I'd come down to earth to you guys to really get some ideas why that could be and what we should do to really solve this problem. So maybe the dog who represents the artistic part, do you think what we could do to ease God's headache?
Yes, I think we should build a culture of heart by creating a loving environment where everybody feels loved. You know, we should create cinemas, museums, family gathering spaces, parks where we can all gather and feel unconditional love from our brothers and sisters.
I really like this, seeing everyone as brothers and sisters and having unconditional love to that and going in different places. That's a really good point. Thank you for that. And also Fox, who's representing the knowledge. Maybe, do you have an idea what we can do?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think yesterday God didn't take his meds, but I think what Doc said, I think we can base all those things based on education, based on true love. So we can create those principled families, we can create communities, so we can create all those things Doc said. And I think for stubborn people, we can create statistics. Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, Fox, thank you. So really being more analyzing about things. Okay, but how can we bring that together? Well, Wolf, do you have an idea who represents the will?
I was thinking, since we're all a big family, I believe we should all go out there and take action. There's no point in sitting around and doing nothing. So I think we should go out there and bring God's children back to him, perhaps by doing some witnessing and sharing God's words, or doing service projects. That way we can show God's love to everyone. Yeah, I think that's something we could do. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think really good points as well. I mean, really not just sitting around, but going out and do something, doing some witnessing and some projects. I really like that one. Thinking about things, doing something, really caring about each other. It's like a big family. If the world would be more like a big family and we would have really family values all together, like we do here in this group, I think the world and God's headache would be a lot less.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I agree.
Awesome. I think we found something really great here. I will bring that up to God. And thanks a lot. And see you around next time.
Okay, thank you so much, Team 5. I don't think I think we can stop the foundations course here, since God seems to already have a pretty good crew there with him, helping him solve all the problems. Okay, thank you for all of your videos. They actually really made me laugh, all of them. So yeah, thank you so much. You were really creative, and yeah, made some really good stuff. Okay, so yeah, thanks again for all of that. So next we're going to be having a little reflection question. It's again with Mentimeter. Please follow the link in the chat, or take out your phones and type www.menti.com and then type in the code which is there visible on the screen. So either follow the link in the chat or the link on the screen. So what makes a community healthy? Given your keywords, what makes a healthy community? Okay, a healthy community: care, love, unity with two parents, listening skills, centered on God, communication, that's a very important one, witnessing, sharing food, yeah, somebody got inspired by the Icebreakers, participation, love, that's the biggest one so far, and unity, yeah, non-judgmental people and acceptance, being able to share and a deep connection, support. So yeah, a lot of elements around togetherness and love and unity and caring about each other, as well as being centered on something vertical and being united, as well as yeah, having good communication and supporting each other. Good leadership also important. Okay, that's really great. Good to see everybody's opinions with love, unity, support, and communication coming out as top. All right, well, with that, we want to go to the first speaker tonight. And the first speaker is the national leader of Czech Republic, the national leader of Czech Republic. And tonight we have talking with us, Eva Pejkofski. Please welcome her up.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Yeah, it's okay. Czech Republic, Austria, we're the same region. We don't mind. Okay, I didn't expect to be first, to be honest. And this is my very first time. I'm visiting you. I'm visiting this amazing program, Foundations. I've heard about it, of course, a lot. And yeah, so I'll try to make sense, I promise. I'll be happy to hear if I succeeded. So I've been invited to share about the transition, something about the transition I experienced from being a member to becoming a leader, a pastor, now even we could say maybe a senior pastor. And then also I will share about how I would see a healthy community and why I think we are almost, or we are a healthy community. So let me shortly tell you about myself, some parts of my life. I joined when I was 16. So I don't know if there is someone 16, I don't think so. But you all went through it, so it's a very turbulent time of our lives. Anyway, I come from quite broken family, and I've been struggling a lot, and then I entered conservatory. I come from, I studied arts, music, and then around that time I started to get to know our movement. So yeah, besides like struggling a lot in my family and within myself as a 16-year-old teenager, I had to fight to come to Sunday services with my family, or many times I would actually try to wake up earlier than my parents and leave the house so that I wouldn't have to argue with them and go to service, and then I came back later. And yeah, I still remember how I had to fight to go to the blessing. And but soon enough, I found myself in a community because I was attending more and more. Many things happened on the way. And yeah, so when I would start coming regularly to Sunday services and get to know brothers and sisters and how it goes, everything, I found myself in a community which was a little bit messy in many ways too, like my family. And I experienced a lot of judgment as a young member. Constantly, someone had the need to correct me. And no matter what I did, it was not enough, and so on and so forth. But actually, I wonder, to be honest, why I stayed, maybe. But make no mistake, this is not a bad testimony to Czech community only. I'm pretty sure that more or less, somewhere is better a little bit, somewhere is worse, but more or less this can be experienced everywhere. Yeah, anyways, I somehow went on being inspired by true parents and being held by my decision that I'm joining their cause. And then after a few years, I was serving as a CARP leader. Then we became Prague church pastors with my husband. At the time we were already together living in Czech. And then after that, we became vice nation leaders. And then 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, we were appointed as nation leaders, or as now in the fashion, there is, I think, national presidents to say. So now, how do I see our community through this journey that I went? How do I see our community when I evaluate it from the time perspective? I told you about just a little bit. I will not go into concrete examples, but just a little bit what I was experiencing when I joined. So now, when I ask myself, did the people change? No, not really. Is there less problems in the community? I don't think so. If there are less problems, then new come. Somehow still a lot of things we have to deal with. And then a next question that comes to me, then am I struggling still the same? Like when I was 16 or 17 years old, teenage, fresh member? And the answer that I gave to myself is no. So I asked myself what changed when I don't anymore feel the same. And I immediately answered to myself, I changed, because I changed. Yeah, so during my journey, I experienced many ups and downs. Sometimes I managed to rise by myself. Sometimes I needed help. Sometimes almost I needed to be resurrected. And all of this changed me. And because no matter what was going on around me, what was heading my way, no matter who was judging me, what mattered and what matters, I see it now. I didn't always see it. What mattered is that I am God's daughter, and I'm on my way to become a little better and a little more mature with each day, each new experience, each new trouble, with each new child that I have. We have 3 children now. So now when I look at the same people or different people, I don't deny that others did not change at all. I hope you understand that. So when I look at the people or the same problems at least occurring, I know somehow I'm not so shaken anymore, because I have God and God has me, and I have 2 parents and 2 parents have me. And through all that, I grew into a parent, not a perfect parent, but at least I have this idea in me. And this brings me as a pastor to a whole new different dimension on a whole new different foundation from which I am then able to approach our community. So now I mentioned a parent. So now about becoming a parent. So when I reflected about this topic, I thought that community is like an extended family. It is known to all of us that what we experience in the family, we experience in broader level also in community, naturally. We call each other brothers and sisters, uncles, aunties. We have father figures, mother figures, and we have many generations living together. Many times it feels like there's no place to escape. Yeah, many times we grow up together, especially our second generations or third generations. So what are the elements of a healthy family? That's the topic today, I believe. I made some points, so I will just read them. So I think it's mutual trust, taking care for each other, forgiving each other, not leaving each other behind or not giving up on each other, being there, being present for each other in times of need, accepting each other just as we are, living for each other, and so on and so on. And ideally, we come to that a healthy community should have high moral values or standard, we would say. And also there is regular quality time and good external and financial governance. We deal with the external, our assets, and so on. Well, so many things. This is really ambitious. Now, I would ask all of you a question, but I don't think that's a good idea in this number of people. So I'll just answer it for you, and I hope it will be a correct answer. So the question is, do our families fulfill all these conditions? Do your families, now I mean the small unit, not the extended family, do our families fulfill all these attributes? So I think the answers will vary, depending very much on your personality, because some people tend to see the bright side, some people tend to see the not so bright side. So some will say yes, mostly, something like that. Some will say no, some will say sometimes, and so on. Depends. So in most, or I would almost dare to say all cases, if we really answer honestly, we will have to admit that our families are many times not healthy, and not yet. And naturally, the big family, the extended family, the community built from such individuals and families will also not be yet as ideal and healthy at all times. But there are also other attributes which a healthy family and community should have, and I didn't mention them before. And this is how I see it. This is the vertical connection, always striving for keeping our Heavenly Parent present and true parents present in our hearts, in our relationships, our conversations, in times of dealing with problems, and so on. Next attribute is divine principle. I'm already talking directly about our community, what I think we have. Understanding that what we go through is not only about us, but is far beyond us. Understanding restoration, lineage, and the burdens and blessings that come with it. Understanding the natural process of needing to grow, and our own free will and responsibility, and so on and so forth. And that's actually my point and my conclusion. I didn't check the time, so I don't know how long I'm talking, but I hope I still have a little bit of time. Anyway, I'm almost concluding. I will tell you why, even though we are still in some way or in so many ways imperfect and on the way, and we are still many times hurting each other and so on. I will tell you why I think that we definitely stand a chance in this world, our community, And if we are not healthy, as today's topic is, and ideal yet, why I think that we are definitely well on the way. So as true parents teach us, in a family we grow the 4 great realms of heart, and they teach us that this is the healthy family. We have a chance to develop our hearts into all directions and grow through stages of children, siblings, husband and wife, and children. So anyway, I think this is very important, and this is the base that we have, and I think we need to acknowledge it. We need to be aware of it. We need to value it, or like cherish it, because it's many times not automatic and it's easy to forget. And I think this is our base. And then all the other things that I said earlier, the trust and forgiving, and I didn't mention so many things like not keeping resentments, for example. This is a tough one, and other things. I think all of this is possible, but based on these next attributes, based on the vertical connection and the other that I mentioned. Okay, and then my very final point is an advice which I somehow I grew to understand. I don't know when, but I feel it is very important. In order to be able to contribute into building a healthier community, and I believe that all of you, I see on my screen only some of you, anyway, 34 people I see. So I believe all of you are here because you do want to contribute to a healthier community wherever you are. I always encourage, in order to do this, to be able to do this better, more efficiently, let's say, I always encourage our brothers and sisters, if they can, to do some healing work. There are many ways, many methods, and I see it as something very important on our path, on our spiritual path, and on our on our path of making our community healthier and healthy. Okay, so that is all from my side. Thank you. Back to you, Sonia. And good to see you, Sonia, by the way. You know, she was there. She was there when I was joining. It's great.
We were in Prague with STF, yeah, and Eva was a young member. So yeah, nice to see it. 10 years later, still here, both of us. Good achievement. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Eva, so much. It's also interesting that you linked the community aspect to personal and family situation as well. This was interesting. Yeah, thank you so much again, Eva, for your heartfelt and personal sharing. Okay, so next we are going to welcome up the national leader of Austria, and this is Elisabeth Cook. So please welcome her up.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Bogdan and your team, for creating this program, actually, because I think for you young people, it is most meaningful to set the direction in your life, to create your vision, your goals. And so this program helps you a lot, I'm sure. I hope also this evening will help you. I was really inspired now by Eva, how she approached the topic of community. And I decided to change a little bit what I wanted to say. So I would like just to mention shortly how I joined the Vienna community. We, as a family, joined the Vienna community in the year 1999. and before we were a long time in Hungary as missionaries, about 20 years. And so then in 1999, we moved to Vienna. And when I joined, I didn't join in Vienna, but in another city in Graz. So I didn't know the Viennese brothers and sisters. Actually, I didn't know anybody there. And then suddenly we were there with 2 children and kind of starting from scratch and zero. Nobody knew us. And also that time was quite a difficult time in our movement because many leaders had left for national messiahs to another country. The leadership was in the process to change, and somehow everything was kind of unstable. So we just dropped into that situation. And I remember the first time I was there at the Sunday service, and I didn't know really what to do. So I started collecting the dishes and washing the dishes. And then one sister came up to me the next service and said, "So I think you should do the children's service." And I was, yeah, okay, good. And then she just handed over the children's Sunday service to me. And then for the next 6-7 years, I was doing the Sunday service for the children. But at least I had something to do, so that was a good thing. And we also had children. And the other thing, I was looking for work, and then I got a work as a research, how do you say, opinion researcher in an institute, and we had to do interviews with people about certain product, chocolate or whatever. And so I always chose the interviews where I had to visit people in their home. So, because nobody wanted to do that. So I took these interviews, and then I visited one blessed family after the other. And I visited almost all the families in Vienna with this interview. And I realized this was really a good practice for me. I came to know everybody. So at the end, I knew the brothers and sisters. Anyway, since 12 years, we have been the leaders of the Vienna community with my husband. And the Vienna community always has been a big community, because Vienna is somehow a place where people find jobs or flats and people want to live. And about 60% of the Austrian movement's membership is living in Vienna. Presently, it means that there are about 50 first-generation families, more than 30 second-generation families, and young children, and now many third-generation young children and babies. And since we have so many new babies, the atmosphere changed so much. It's so joyful to see the families grow. Yeah, that's our situation. It's well more than 200 members in Vienna. And you can imagine you have to think of something to kind of manage this amount of people. So what has been there before we came also, there were teams of blessed families, couples, and we just expanded on this structure, like blessed family teams with one blessed family as the leading couple. And what I concentrated on was to strengthen the structure so that every family or every member would have a place in this big group of people. Because actually every human being wants to be seen and heard. This is a very basic desire of every human being, and it can't be fulfilled in a very big group of people. It can only be fulfilled in a smaller group. Of course, we have our own families where this desire should be fulfilled, but also in a community there must be some place where the members can feel at home. So we have these blessed family groups, and then there is a CAP group, a HUB group. And what I concentrated on later, when I didn't have time anymore to visit every family, I concentrated on a meeting with these team group leaders and tried to help them take care of their group of people. And yeah, when the CAP had a CAP center, I would visit the CAP leader every week, every Tuesday morning, just to discuss the situation or to support her work. And with the other team leaders, we used to meet since COVID on Zoom only, and we realized Zoom is much easier, and it helped us a lot also to come closer. So then the idea behind was to create close bonds between these middle level leaders, so that they trust each other, they give strength to each other, and then that they can take care of the brothers and sisters who are in their team. And so then everybody would have this spiritual home, this smaller spiritual home. Yeah, that is our desire, and we have been working for that. And reflecting, I can say, of course it is working. Somehow you can do it on paper, you make the groups. It's already more difficult to find the right group leader. That's already not easy, but of course we found people. But the difficult thing is to, how do you bring your ideal or your imagination to this group leader, or how do you support these group leaders that they can do their task well? So that's always a really a difficult thing, because you don't want to push this person too much, and you don't want to let this person alone for too long. So to find the right balance, this is not always easy. And in some cases, I must say, these smaller groups of brothers and sisters are supporting each other well, like they do team meetings with meals or excursions or discussions, or helping each other when they're sick. In some teams, it is not working so well, and it's not so easy then to bring change about this. Yeah, that's so about the structure and our ideas, how we tried to create a healthy community. Of course, in our movement or in our family federation, the Sunday service is the focal point of the week, and we hope always that brothers and sisters come to join the service. We have been concentrating on involving as many people as possible in creating the Sunday service program, and special emphasis on the young generation. So we've been trying 10 years, and it worked 10 years, so that the second generation do all the music, or MC, the reading, and also give sermons. And it became now, what do you say, a habit that they are doing these things, and they're doing it well. And I'm happy for that, because we, as first generation, there is a group of first generation couples who are older than me. Let's say they're over 70, 75 or older. And that's a time where you can't really, it doesn't make sense to sing or to perform something. This time is somehow over in that age. And I think it's really good that the young people are involving themselves. Also, we have a main Sunday service, and then smaller services for small children, school children, HAP, and so. And the second generation couples or singles are doing these services. So what I like in this is to see that the brothers and sisters are taking care of the brothers and sisters. And I think that's a very important point of a community, that everybody has a role to do, which is important. So then it gives meaning to the brothers and sisters. But also the Sunday service meeting itself is has many aspects. It's not only the sermon which people listen to, but also the social interaction afterwards. And what I tried, or we tried to make understand to many brothers and sisters, is that even to support each other is very meaningful. Even to attend a meeting or a service in order to support each other is very meaningful. And sometimes I think it makes a big difference if, let's say, 3 people in my age group are at the Sunday service, or if 30 people in my age group are in the Sunday service. That's a huge difference. And simply to be there creates energy, and creates a certain energy and a certain positive power, which empowers the people who are there. So what my husband and me tried to make everybody feel wanting to come to our community. So we said to each other many times, we don't mind how the people look like who come there, what clothes they wear, what hairstyle they have, if they're young or old. We will never criticize them because we want them to feel like a family. Of course, we cannot direct everybody to do the same. We cannot supervise what the people do, but from our heart, we felt we want to be a welcoming community. Yeah, and what else to say? Yeah, so the big goal is that our community is. Yeah, we had a meeting at the beginning of this year with the leaders of Vienna, an online meeting, and then some brothers and sisters described the goal for our community, and they said, we want to be a community which becomes a model society, which everybody could join. But we want to become a community that sets the tone for our society. And I think, so I can agree with this very much. Yeah, and there is even some proof for that, because Eva also Eva addressed the thought: are we perfect, or how do we have many mistakes? But there's a proof that a community can set the tone for society. Some long time ago, I read a research about the Italian community in the United States. They were just Italians among each other, and they were working hard in a coal mine and in the factory. And one day a young priest was allocated to this community, and he was very creative and inspired the people to do other things than working, like growing gardens and making spiritual groups, music groups, make big feasts, big celebrations. And so the community started to grow and coming to be really close together. And then one time, a medical doctor started to examine this community, and he realized that they had much lower heart attack rate than the average American. And then he got sociologists and other experts to examine everything: their food, their water, their genes, and so on. And he didn't find any proof except that these members of this community were so concentrated on their goal to create a better life for their children, and that they shared everything together. They did everything together, and they managed to have a community where there was less sickness, but also there were no suicides, no alcoholism, no drug addiction, and very little crime. And there were no unemployed people and no stomach ulcer sick people like that. And then the conclusion of all these experts was that the people nourish each other. So that the relationships among the people, they nourish each other more than medicine or a special diet. And I thought at that time, that's really my goal, or our goal. We should become communities that that bring this fruit, that bear fruit, let's say, fruit of all our efforts of praying or living a religious life, not committing sins. The fruit should be a healthy person, a healthy community, and a happier community. And of course, I cannot measure how much we reach this in Vienna. And if you ask the members, they will give different answers. But at least this is what is in my heart and what I believe in. And also we had discussions with brothers and sisters. Yeah, how much did we become perfect? We are now 40 years in the church, or 50 years. Did we become perfect? And everybody tends to say, no, wow, we are really so bad and so. But I used to say, look, did you steal? Did you kill somebody? Did you betray your husband? Did you lie? No, nobody did these things. So okay, of course there are other things, other sins, but actually we built up a community with very high moral values and also practices. And I think we can be really proud of this and also show it to the society. And hopefully we can be a model for society. So this is my conclusion. And I hope I could make myself understand. Thank you.
Thank you, Elisabeth, for your talk. And it's interesting to hear what kind of powerful effects a healthy community can have.
Yeah.
So remember also, everyone, to write questions and comments that you have by going to the chat, and you will see there questions and comments person. So yeah, please keep writing. We're going to have later on a question and answer with all the speakers, all the 3 speakers of today. Okay, so next we're going to be having a short reflection of 5 minutes. So we're going to have the question come up here on screen. What can I do for my community? So let's take 5 minutes and reflect about this question. And see you back here 2 minutes past. Welcome back. I hope you had a good reflection. You'll get a chance to discuss that a bit later on with your team. Next, we're going to have the third talk of our evening, and it's going to be given by Jario and Leena Gavin, who are pastors of Gather Family Church in the USA. They're also directors of School of Love, which is an initiative teaching children about love in the setting of the family. So please welcome them up.
Wow. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for inviting us here. What a beautiful program. This has really been great. I love the skits. That was really neat to see. I want to show my kids these. This is really cool. And yeah, thank you so much, Eva and Miss Cook, for sharing your hearts today. And we're just honored to be here to share a little bit about our journey.
Yeah, so we're gonna share a screen. Feel free to do side by side if still wanna see our faces, I guess. But yeah, we are Jario and Leena, and these are our little kiddos. Morel, Kyler, and Bodhi is here today. And yeah, we've been doing ministry for a while. We started youth ministry together after we were blessed for 4 years, and then we've been pastoring now for the last 11 years. So we're happy to share from our experiences with you. And yeah, it's really great to see you all. We're both connected to Europe. So yeah, we're gonna start with what motivates us.
Yeah, and so when we were looking back at this, for our couple, we actually, when we got blessed, we right away were kind of both on the same page. We wanted to help out our community some way, somehow. My wife was working with the youth ministry, and I said, I'll help with the witnessing because there's a lot of people wanting to work with the youth. So we both were really committed. We wanted to make a community that we were proud to be a part of, and something that we really wanted to raise our family in the future. So that was really from the beginning. But
yeah, and also another thing that's always motivated me is the generation before us and everything they've put into it. For me personally, my parents are very connected to you. My mom's Barbara Vincent. She was witnessed to in the U.S., and her brother brought the principal to Europe. And the first person her brother witnessed to happened to be my dad, Rainer Vincent, who was the first member in Europe and started the church in France. So anyways, just all their stories, and like many of your parents or aunts and uncles, just their commitment, giving their life to this and pioneering has definitely been something that's always inspired us.
yeah, to be pioneers is something they instilled in us very strongly. And we always aspired to their model, planting churches in France and throughout. So we were really excited about that. But, you know, going forward too, right, we want to pass this on. And now that we have children, that's a huge motivator for us. We look at our children and we say, I want my children to want to come to church. I want them to want to have these values because of what an impact it's made on my life. And I know that I struggled sometimes because of the church to come to my faith. And I thought, what if I can create an environment where my children desire to be there, they want to be there, and they're enriched through the experience. And so really we wanted to create this and not just for our children, but for other people's children and many of our friends.
Yeah, of course, many of us might have friends too we grew up with that aren't connected so much anymore, or maybe they kind of live it in their life but don't come to church. And that was another big motivator, just like taking the chance to try to create what we believe unificationism can be, and really show our friends that aren't connected, you know, actually this is really beautiful and great. And yeah, just promoting those values that we grew up with and are so.
The things, yeah, that were instilled in us have really guided our life and helped us create a healthy marriage, I think. How to navigate our challenges sometimes, how to have healthy communication, you know, understanding that having a focus of our marriage that's higher than us, and how that's helped draw us together and walk through difficult moments that we've gone through, you know, and that's helped us so much. And we think, you know, we want that for our friends, we want that for our community. And a lot of our friends that grew up in this movement, we just have this concern that they can see how beautiful it can be when we practice it. And so, you know, one of the things that really moved us was when we were working with youth ministry, which we did for 4 years when we got blessed. I was working with so many young people, and I'd see breakthroughs in their life, and I'd see them start wanting to change something, or you know, I want to go to STF, or I want to get blessed, and I'd see these transformations in them, but then I would see them go to their families and challenges in the home that actually started to become a block. You know, marriages that weren't really a blessing to their parents. There was maybe a burden or even a curse. You know, I'm married to my enemy, and parents lived that out and expressed that in front of their children. And we realized, you know, as much development we could do with our young people, it also had to happen in the family too, right? We needed to have stronger marriages, stronger parenting skills, how to have conversations that are challenging. We needed to help that out. And so we kind of decided we love doing this transformation, but it needs to be on a whole family level. It needs to be in the community. And so we moved towards pastoring.
Yeah.
So
and
these
you'll
are-
see more pictures and a little later of some things we've done. But yeah, then we started pastoring, and we wanted to share some things we've learned of elements of a healthy community. And the first one really has been creating environments, both internal and external environments. I know Mother shared a lot about environments. For myself as a teacher background, you know, when you start the new school year, you decorate the room and help it feel welcoming. And we've really spent a lot of time in our churches creating environments wherever we've been. And it doesn't happen overnight. You know, sometimes it takes a year or two. Sometimes it means buying a new building or like a big change. And then, you know, so external, that's that place you're in, that warmth. Through the externals are important. And also thinking of your audience and that everybody has a space that they can feel comfortable in, the different, you know, needs. And then internally, of course, the culture of heart that was also shared on earlier of non-judgment and love. So that was a big one.
Yeah, we really felt like if you want families with children to come to church, then you need to have a space for children, right? It's not just, oh, we have an extra room and the kids can kind of, but don't touch anything because it's holy items there. You know, we have to create an environment where the kids feel, oh, I belong here, right? And then they want to come back. We have to create an environment where people feel like, hey, this is a clean, nice place. I like being in this room and I like being in this space. But another thing for us was creating an opportunity for two-way communication. I know in our movement, we're very used to leadership that guides from the top and tells everybody how to operate. But we feel, you know, the best way is when we work together, right? Even when I look at divine principle education, subject and object is never like this. It's always next to each other, right? They're engaged. And God and true parents and our principles, that's what's at the top. That's what guides us. So as leadership, you know, we've always felt, how can we facilitate conversation? That we're working together on this, we're guiding our community together along with their input, and we do surveys and try and make a lot of one-on-one conversation. How can we always engage them in having these conversations?
Yeah, and it's really valuable because you might have a vision as a leader and know what you feel God is calling you to create already. But just getting everyone like excited and getting their additional ideas and input is really important, especially with any changes that we've had over the years. So yeah, that's been really...
The best is through dialogue, when someone comes up and shares your idea with you as if it's their own. Hey, we should do this. And you go, great. You know, then you get the support from all generations to support. But one of our big things about creating the internal environment has also been kind of our motto that's guided our ministry, has always been promote the ideal while embracing reality. And so, you know, we always want to talk about where we want to go. How do we want to develop? You know, even though I might not be a perfect husband, I want to talk about how to be a perfect husband. I don't want to give a sermon that says how to be a mediocre husband, how to be an okay dad, right? I want to talk about what we're aspiring towards. And then I also bring it back to say, hey, but we are mediocre right now. Oh, I did, you know, raise my voice to my children last week, and I felt bad about that. And I talk about it with my community. I share it in the sermons. You know, I'm working on this too. We're on this journey. We're pursuing this, but this is where we're at right now. And that allows people to be on the journey together, but still working towards a higher purpose, a higher value. We want to make an environment where everybody comes to church. It should be a healing place, right? So we need to embrace where people are at.
Yeah, and then moving into like the environment, I guess more catered to especially our youth, our young adults, our young families. Just a few more detailed examples. One is again the environment. So we really involved, our community, and when we do makeovers or get a new place, involving everyone. Also for us, like, I think it's important to go with who you are as a leader, like your feel, your style, you and your team, and also your community. And for us, it's kind of a rustic, homey, like simple environment. Someone else might be fancy lights and like, I don't know.
Rock and roll and
Yeah.
smoke machines. And I just accept I'm not that cool.
So yeah, this is some of our environments at our previous building. We just bought a new one, but this is one we are renting. And we actually made it very non-traditional. We made it a conversational space, so it's kind of more like a coffee shop feel where you sit at tables and engage during service. So we just wanted to show you some pictures of kind of environments we've created. This is all at Gather Family Church down here in Mobile, Alabama.
But also that we thought, we want to also engage the young adults. This is maybe a difficult, you might have friends and you want to share with them your faith, but it's hard maybe to get them to come Sunday mornings, even kids that grew up in the faith. And so we started doing, we called them adulting. I don't know if you have that term in Europe, but like all the things that you should have learned, how to cook, how to change a tire, how to, balance your checkbook, how to, take care of regular adult activities. And we make kind of programs about that. So we've done mochi nights, or we've done, painting nights. We try and do things that engage people where they're at, things that they're already interested in learning about, and create an environment where we can bring all of our friends together to create that. So just being kind of creative and thinking about what are people already looking for and how can we connect them to it.
And then along with that, helping our messaging to be relevant and to where people are at, and really trying to take the divine principle and apply it in an applicable way that's relevant to your life. So this is just an example of our postcard. Our baby's really talkative today. And we took the 3 great blessings, and here at Gather, we call it live, love, and give. So that's our be fruitful, multiply, have dominion. But really making effort also in the messaging, or when we share the divine principle, to find ways that it connects, to your daily life and to what you're going through.
Yeah, even something my wife learned during teaching was talking about things based on the season of life. So if it's around Christmas time, maybe we don't talk about, how to find your true love. We'll wait till, more Valentine's Day, or, what is going on in your country, in your culture, and talking about things that are already on people's minds and bringing them to God versus expecting them to already understand all the concepts we're talking about. And then also just creating a family-friendly environment. This is really a big thing for us. This was one of our summer camps we did for children. And we do these always publicly for not just unification children, but any families. Creating an environment where they feel loved and welcomed and that they want to be there. It just makes it a lot easier for parents to come to church if their children want to be there as well. And it makes children more open to wanting to learn if it's a fun place where they can engage.
Yeah, and we actually take our play area that we have and we open it up to the public. So the city of Mobile, and parents, families, they come, they play. We're providing a need in our community to serve. And it's been really fun to just truly serve in this way. We don't witness during these times. We're there, oh, hi, we're the pastors, we meet people, and sometimes they'll be like, oh, tell me about your church, or I want to come check out, Sunday. But we don't push it. We're really just trying to serve our community. And yeah, it's been really awesome. We do story times and things like that. right?
So yeah,
Okay.
I think so. And then
So,
some things we've learned over the years. You've got it.
okay, so the first one is going off of that, to learn to play to your own strengths and passions and gifts. So for example, we love working with kids. He's still like a big kid at heart. I studied elementary education, so for us that was a big part of, why we have such a kid involved community. But maybe someone can create a ministry or a church that has a lot of arts going on, or music, or it's really taking what you're passionate about and using those gifts to serve your local members, but also the broader community. And with that also, over the years we've learned to allow ourselves to play into those strengths and sometimes say no, right?
So what we've found is, everybody, whatever their mission is the most important thing, right? And God and true parents need this more than anything else. And it really is true. And it's good that everyone's passionate about their area, but not everybody can do all things. And so sometimes you have to say, oh, I love the activity you're doing, but right now we can't focus on that. And it doesn't mean you're against their program. It's just appreciating what God has called you to do at the moment. And that's a little challenging. When we were younger in the ministry, it was harder to say no to things, but now we're a little more confident. So it's okay.
Also for yourself, like, your own limitations and how far, you can be stretched. So just even for your own spiritual health. But yeah, that's been definitely a good lesson for us to learn. Another one is support, having some support. A lot of times life as a leader can be lonely. So for a big part for us is definitely our marriage and how, our spouse, and whether you're like doing ministry together with your spouse, or if you're married and they have another job, like just being on the same page even, so that it doesn't get in the way of like, oh, you spend more time at church than, with me or something. But that's definitely been a rock, I think, for us, having each other, or having, certain people that we can go to and just be ourselves with and share openly with as well. Especially in that role of a leader where you're always leading others, like having at least one person you can share openly with and not worry,
Yeah, and finally, like one last lesson that I've really leaned into is failure is just a stepping stone to our success. That, often it might be said, hey, you might be too young, right? You might have heard this before. You're too young. And they might say, oh, they might make mistakes if they're too young. They've never tried this before. And we've heard that a lot. But I think that, failing and even failing big can be really the way that we're going to find the strategies that are going to reach new people, that are going to connect with people, and just being okay with the idea that I'm not always going to be right? I mean, our principle talks about this, right? There's a formation, there's a growth, and then there's a completion. But in that, right, we need to fall down a few times. We need to make some mistakes in order for us to learn what's really going to work the best. And so I just want to encourage you to not stop yourself because you're afraid it won't work. Just know that if you keep going, even after many failures, you're actually going to find true success. The only way to lose is to quit. So fail big sometimes. We've definitely done it ourselves.
Oh yeah, and so finally we want to share with you some more photos of different things we've done over the years. I think our son's like teething or something, so he's enjoying talking too. But yeah, we've had a lot of different experiences, mainly first in the Chicago area. And we'll go ahead and show you. So we started with youth ministry. Of course, we absolutely love, these are just some random pictures, but we loved summer camps all summer long. And just knowing, making a difference. And actually the picture on the right, we did a little like dance company at the time. So that was really fun. We did a little show every year. Another thing should I just keep going? Okay. During Loving Lifetime, we actually rented out a movie theater. So we had church at a movie theater, and just wanted to show you some of those pictures. This was in Chicago. It was a huge screen, as you can imagine. So that was a really neat opportunity. And it really got, for larger communities, the great thing was getting a lot of volunteers. So many more people volunteered because we had to when you have church to set up every Sunday when you're renting a place. And they were excited too, you know. So that was really neat. Yeah, this was us praying before a Sunday service with the volunteers. So that was a really cool chapter. And that was one of the first times I really feel we made a place for kids, where they really felt welcomed. We also did a church plant, so that's kind of basically starting another church, pioneering home church, and at the time that was Odyssey Unification Church, and that was a really neat time to try out different things. We actually rented a room in a restaurant. So this was a local restaurant in the town. And down in their basement, they had a private dining space we could rent. So they actually set up like the tables, the layout every Sunday. They even provided us coffee and pastries. So that was really cool. And we just put out, you know, our little information. These are some pictures from, this was a smaller community, but the service there, and it just made people very comfortable. And this was again non-traditional. It was actually at a restaurant brewery, but of course none of that was going on in church, but just, you know, meeting people in a comfortable space, and we just put up a little tent for the little ones. And with the church plant, we really served a lot in the community and volunteered. This was on the right, this was tornado relief. That was like a couple hours away, but just a lot of service. Then at one point we started a business, and we can like connect more if any of you want to hear more, because we're going through this like really fast, but this is like a decade of experiences. So we started an indoor play place as a business at one point, and that was creating a space for families to come and play. So not a daycare, not a preschool, but you know, families just come and play together. And there was like a little lounge area in the back. But yeah, that was really awesome experience. And that wasn't like a church thing, that was just our business. But towards the end of that was when we decided to move to Alabama to take on pastoring. And when we announced it to our business, some of them said like, oh, we're going to miss you, but you know, you've kind of been ministering to us all along, like just through the play place, just being there for families. So that was really cool. And even though this like chapter ended up not being our long, you know, we thought, oh, we'll run this business the rest of our lives. This is what we're doing, right? And it ended up not being our lifelong plan. But I think, you know, there's a lot we learned through it. And because we did it, we had the idea to bring this into our ministry now in Alabama, which is what you saw earlier. And with that church plant, at one point, we also met in our home. So just wanted to show an example of that if you're like in a home church kind of community. And we did a block party in our backyard. Yeah, so again, just a lot of different ways to reach people. And yeah, and we already shared pictures of our community now, which is in Mobile in Alabama. Yeah, and then we just had a couple last points to share on highlight experiences.
So for me, I think one of my big highlights is actually showing up for the little things in people's lives. You know, when we're there for someone after they give birth and pray over their baby, or being there at someone's blessing and presiding over their weddings, to be there when someone's in the hospital sick or even transitioning, and being there for the family. These are some of the most important things that I feel that I've done in my life, is to be there at the moments in people's lives when they really need us. And I really feel like that's what ministry is about. It's not the big events. It's not the big lights. It's not the most incredible program. It's really about being there in people's lives and helping our brothers and sisters go through life. We all need support on our journey. We're all trying to come home to God, but we need to be there for one another. And so for me, really, I think some of my key moments have been these simple, small moments in someone's living room, or, you know, in the hospital bedroom with them.
Yeah, and I think for me, one of the highlights is just like our crazy lifestyle of like having ideas, having visions and dreams, but then really taking some steps towards them, but also putting trust in God that, you know, having faith that it'll work out. Yeah, and really just trying new things, creating things, going for it. But just, I guess, that whole journey of, yeah. Seeing, and it doesn't happen overnight, you know, a lot of lessons learned, it takes time. But that's been really neat to just kind of put our trust in God, and things always work out. And one more point, right? Oh, and also just, yeah, we're excited to be able to show our kids, you know, like what it is that we appreciated about growing up in this faith, and take all of that, but then also build on it and show them even more what we think it can be today. Yeah, so
whatever community you're creating, I really want to encourage you, just think, hey, this is God's happy reunion. You know, he's the grandparent waiting for his family to come home. And whether it's a music concert you're putting on, an art event, a Sunday service, or youth group, you know, make it a place where the family can come together, can feel loved and appreciated and supported on this journey of life. But yeah, we're so glad to share this with you.
Yeah, it's really nice to be in Europe. Thank you for having us. And we'll put a few links in the chat too. We do create some resources we'd be happy for you to use. And yeah, some of our Facebook pages or things if you want to check out some more. But yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you for all your investment, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much to both of you for your sharing your experiences. It's good to share these things between communities to see what others are doing. I wish I was a 3-year-old in your community. The play area looked really cool. Okay, so next we're going to be having question and answers with all the 3 speakers. So thanks for all of those who sent questions or comments, and please continue to do so. If you have anything, please just write that in the chat, and we'll try to cover everything. Okay, so the first question is to Leena and Jario. Your community looks breathtakingly beautiful. How did you raise the funds and money to create this environment?
So yeah, it was a lot of communicating with our community. I remember when we wanted to make some big steps, it looked like a little bit of investment. It was an investment for our community. But one of our most fiscally conservative members finally came to me and said, Jario, you know, if we don't do anything in our community, if we just do what we're doing, you know, we have so many years left, you know, we can continue on. But if we try what you're talking about, we might lose all of our money quickly, but we also have a chance to grow and do something, you know, for our families. And so he said, so for that reason, you know, I'm behind you and I'll support it. So it was, you know, encouraging our members to take some of the funds that we've saved up over the years and invested in this. Another thing that we did do is when we make our community center public, you know, one of the ways we got everyone to invest in the children's place was we said, we'll make it public. So during the week, we offer our open play. We rent out for birthday parties on the weekend. And so this brings in additional finance for our community. So our children get blessed with a nicer space because we're also opening it to the public. So it really serves both purposes.
And in our newest space, when we moved here, or anyway, we just sold the older church, the recent church building. So we've been able to use some of those funds into our new building. But yeah, I think you shared the main parts. I think the biggest part is getting your community excited and on board. And also
we've seen our tithing go up a lot. Yeah. We've doubled our tithing over the last 5 years. So we're when you invest, right? When you involve people, a lot of members, they told us even when we first came down there and said, well, we didn't need to give so much because we weren't doing so much. So it was okay. You know, we saw our income was fine. But when we started doing more and their families were involved more, they also were able to give more.
Yeah, one more thing with the environments, creating vision boards is very helpful. I'm always a very visual person, But I think for the community, sometimes they can't always envision what you see. Like this recent building we bought, like was a long hallway and tons of little offices and like
little doctor's offices.
Yeah.
It was not pretty.
And recently, we've been under renovations for a year actually. And recently now people are like, okay, I can see what you were envisioning now that all the walls are knocked down. And anyway, but creating vision boards, I think is very helpful. You know, I want to have this youth program, or I'd like to rent this space, or, you know, like having pictures of what you envision, I think is helpful.
Okay, thanks for that. My family is not perfect, and I know, but could I trust the other members of my community and build this union if the other families are not giving me reasons to trust them, like not acting the right way, non-God-centered action, and making shady moves? How to create a non-judgmental community? I'm going to read that out again. So feel free, any one of you, to answer that. I don't know if Eva, you want to start. You were talking a little bit about some of these things as well. So I'm going to read it out again. My family is not perfect, and I know, but how could I trust the other members of my community and build this union if the other families are not giving me reasons to trust them? How to create a non-judgmental community? Yeah, feel free, anyone, but maybe Eva, do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, each situation is a little bit unique. Each person is unique, so I cannot guarantee that I will give, you know, the exact answer this person needs or that it fits. But in general, in this question, there is an interesting thing. The other families are not giving me reasons to trust them. So actually, what I like to do for myself is to think about, anyway, to in general share with Heavenly Parent, but also to think about how does He, Heavenly Parent, from His side, how is it for me? You know, I'm not giving many reasons, to be honest, to Heavenly Parent to trust me. I can give you thousands of reasons why Heavenly Parent cannot trust me. And then on a daily level, I have to admit, with my family, just within my own family, of five people, husband, wife, and 3 kids, I am not behaving many times. Not just today, I screamed at my son. I had a hard day, really, actually tough day, which started with a conflict with one member, not with me, but anyway, I was trying to help, and it just bursted all on me, and then anyway, many other things, and then I screamed at my son in the evening so much. It's not so good, you know. I didn't exactly give him reason to trust me, so I hope you understand where I'm leading. Like, I would recommend maybe to reflect about this. The other families are not giving me reasons to trust them. I don't say I don't feel that way sometimes, but even for myself, I try to rethink this. And basically, I find that this is not, how is this word in English? This is not, sorry, my brain's not working anymore. This is not so important, or so yeah, this is not so important. What is important is how I act, the example I show, and yeah, okay, I could go on, but just basic answer. I will finish here.
Do you want to add something, Elisabeth or Jario and Leena? I think a few of you mentioned about the non-judgmental or judgmental.
Yeah, yes. Maybe because I also mentioned it. I said that my husband and me, we really, we promised each other we would never criticize the brothers and sisters for small things. but at the same time we realized we cannot avoid others doing that. And I think there's no way you can direct 100 people to a certain behavior, because somebody always may be the one who is not trustworthy. I think what is very important here is if this brother or sister experiences this, that he or she finds the central person to discuss it with, because there's hope that the central person helps to see it in the right way. And I think here comes in the thought which Jario mentioned. We have our dreams and hopes, but there's the reality also. And if there is really somebody betraying me or behaving in a bad way, I must admit that this is the reality. This is the, how they say in German. You say it's the I don't know in English. It's the starting point. It's where we are, and you can't change it. But also at the same time, we have to know, yes, but still I have my dreams. I don't let them take away. I don't know if it makes sense what I mean. But many times I realized we cannot direct the people what to do, but we can help to put it in perspective. Yeah, but many times I realized then the brothers and sisters maybe don't dare to talk about the situation, but fade out a little bit gradually because they have been hurt very much by somebody. Although it would have been solvable if this brother or sister just hears from somebody else, look, that's a real situation with this brother or sister. We don't know what his family background is like, but it's not because of you. It's because of this reality. Yeah, I hope I could make myself understand.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. Do you want to add anything, Jario and Leena? You don't have
Sure,
to.
yeah,
But if you
thank
want to.
you. Yeah, I mean, it's such a big thing, I think, in a lot of our communities, so, and very close to many of our hearts, I'm sure. Yeah, so creating the environment of non-judgment. I think one way we've been able to do it is, in a sense, indirectly, but also through messaging, like through the sermons Jario gives. I think he tries to speak to like issues we know are going on in our community, or like, but of course in like an uplifting, I don't know, yeah, just like speaking to things like in your own marriage, or where maybe it even makes you realize, oh, I'm not perfect. But yeah, thinking of, we have a lot of different situations in our community. I don't remember what I was going to share. Do you have anything else?
No, I think that's perfect. And one thing that I noticed though is also, we're a community of restoration, right? I mean, that's one of our big things. And the reality is, when you want to address problems, when you want to do restoration, it's like lifting up the rug and now everything's dirty, So actually, if we're going to be a restorational church, it means we're going to get messy. We're going to be hurtful. Sometimes we're going to say words we don't mean, but we're choosing to go through the process so that we can overcome it and actually be restored. We could be a perfect church where everyone just smiles and says, my marriage is perfect, my kids are perfect, and, go through life like that. But we actually won't restore anything. And so sometimes it's a little messy. Sometimes, if we're choosing to be a healing place, a place of growth, we have to be okay that sometimes we will get hurt. We will get let down. We will trust and love someone and they will forsake our trust. They will hurt us. But we're here about a bigger issue, about actually bringing restoration and solving these problems finally.
One I remembered now, just that providing a lot of different avenues, to get together. So some might be less formal or less like intimidating, if it's just like, let's have a bonfire, let's have a meal together, and might be a more easy way to create a welcoming atmosphere. And then sometimes you have to have a hard conversation. Recently at one of our community meetings, we shared with our members, like, okay, these are things not to do when a new person walks in on Sunday morning. for their first time, and either that's a new person or it's a second gen that hasn't come in years, and they're very simple things like don't ask them, are you blessed? Like, even if you have a
Oh, I have a daughter that's ready, and you look about her age, and then they never come back again.
and of course it's all the best intentions, but even so, sometimes finding a comfortable opportunity to share some of those things in a loving way as a leader, or having someone else help you share it, has to be done sometimes. But yeah.
Okay, thanks so much. Unity is key for a healthy community. As a new member in my community, what can I do to help my community be more united? Anyone wants to go with that question?
Start with yourself. Show the example. I think that's like an advice we all should kind of follow, or are trying to follow. I think that's the first step. Show the example. And then also sometimes, yeah, it's good to search for answers, like ask, but it's very good and very important to ask Heavenly Parent. So I would also really give it a lot of prayer. I don't know how is this concrete community looking like, you know, of the person who asked the question, or if it's a big community or small community, or if it's some concrete case, or what is it. But I remember someone once, I was much younger, about 12 years ago, when I was blessed around the time, someone told me, yeah, you should do like this, and I said, okay, I'll think about it. And this person told me, and pray about it, and pray about it with those big eyes. I was like, okay. Yeah, but actually I find myself even now telling it to others too. Yeah, it's an important point.
Those are great points. I also think, you know, when we moved down to a new community, one of the first things we did was try to meet with people one-on-one, and actually just building relationships with people. Sometimes there's been something that's happened in a community. There's feelings that have built up over the times, or someone upset someone at some point. And actually, sometimes the person from outside is the best. Everybody wants to show the best foot forward to the new people. So if you can meet individually with people, though, I think it really helped us to build that relationship, and then bring them back into the community, bring them back into, you know, oh, you know, I didn't know this, but you have this really great ability to make nice pastries. You know, you should bring that to church, you know. And now they're coming back, they're connecting again. So meeting one-on-one, I felt was a good way, even though that doesn't seem like how to bring unity. It actually helped a lot, I thought.
And I was thinking too how when I was imagining unity, I was imagining a lot of people like working together, doing different parts to create the whole, right? So with that, I think we've learned to allow people to serve where, you know, they're good. And like sometimes we think, oh, everybody has to do this way, right? Or everyone should be out witnessing, but even like some youth would volunteer once a month to brew coffee on Sunday morning. And it sounds so simple and maybe small, but it's not. Coffee is important. So, you know, allowing people to serve even in very small, simple ways, I think can help bring them into kind of that fold and feel important.
Yeah, maybe that person could find out what is lacking in the community, and if he or she could fill in this gap, or find out from his peers or from the people in his or her age what they are doing or what they want him or her to do. So just to find out what is needed or what the community wants, that then this person could get some idea how he or she could support. Communication, yeah, communicate a lot, then he or she will find it out.
Yeah, thanks. Good luck finding that point. As the new person, you might not have some of the baggage that is maybe existing between people. Okay, so next question. How can I keep myself active in my community and support without sacrificing my hobbies and my couple or family life?
I think the
Yeah.
example of brewing the coffee once a month is a very good example. Just to do something what you can do or like to do, but not do more than you can do. That's all I can say. So yeah, Jario, please.
Oh yeah, no, that's wonderful. Yeah. Finding the things that you're passionate about and helping there, not everywhere. Yeah, and then when I read this, I felt like for our couple, we really had to find balance and find a way to make family and friendship a priority, and actually and maybe it's providential, right? You have to put it sometimes in that category that actually spending time with friends and family is actually very important as well, and recharging myself, and spending my own personal time in prayer, and choosing to actually schedule that and make that a part. That I'm not abandoning the church or the providence by taking my family to the beach and spending time out there with them, or spending time at a friend's house and just being there. And I didn't say one word about church the whole time, and that's okay. And so to make sure that it is a providential thing. I started doing watercoloring again this year, and I thought, this is important. I need to do these things, express my own creativity and beauty. And actually now I can help people more because I've allowed that to freely flow in my life. So yeah, I think seeing yourself as part of God's work and your family and your friends.
Yeah, this is a really good question. Really good. I'll say two things. One is I will just follow after Jario. Right now, what we did in Czech Republic, actually last weekend, we did so-called family national meeting. So we decided we will do a national meeting twice a year. Until now, it was only once a year always. And it was, let's say, providential, which means it was naturally, it was focused on providence and the goals and fighting and this like really let's go and bring the heavenly kingdom to the Czech Republic way. And then this meant practically that the families, either one had to come and the other one had to stay home with children, or they had to find babysitting. It meant like a practically lot of sacrifices. And so we decided to do this second non-providential meeting, or I would say like we have one vertical and one horizontal meeting, where all families come, and we have program for all age or generations, and everyone feels welcomed, and it's really like more nourishing for the families and for the relationships in families. But actually the way I concluded the meeting on Sunday, last Sunday afternoon, was by saying that I am convinced that even this is a providential meeting, because family is a foundation for the providence. Yeah, so that's one thing. And second thing is I battle with this myself all the time, and it's just a question of balance. I'm learning it myself. Sometimes I crash, sometimes I really had to learn this, and still I'm learning. It is important to really balance it. So I needed guidance for this a lot, because I tend to just work and work and work and work and be consumed, and then I crash. So yeah, it's just you need to sometimes just take off. For instance, now I decided 1 day a week, I just, as much as I can, I don't work. I'm not in the office, let's say. I don't pick up phones. it's tough because the community was used to that they can call me all the time or message me all the time. And also I decided one evening, because I received strong complaints from my children, especially the oldest one, like, you're all the time going away and it's not fair. So I decided one evening a week is like sacred, just for my children. That's also tough because there is never, enough space where to fit in all the meetings and especially the Zoom meetings and everything. So anyway, just to, this clicked in me when I read this question.
Okay, thank you so much. So we're running out of time, so sorry if we weren't able to cover your question. There's also Jario and Leena wrote something in the chat as well to answer this question, so thanks for that. And thank you to all of you 3 speakers today. It's been really great to hear different views. Thank you so much for making it. So we're going to now be having a team meeting to discuss some of the things that we've heard today, your thoughts, and perhaps also about your reflection. So yeah, feel free to talk about some of the following points. Which points from the talks inspired you? What are the strengths and areas to grow in your community? And what can I do for my community? Share your reflections. So we're going to be meeting back here at 1:15, whatever time it is in your country. Okay, have nice team meetings.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Elisabeth. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had really good team meetings. So next, we're going to go to our announcements before we conclude today's session. So the homework today is, again, working in teams to create a short questionnaire on the topic of what people are looking for in a community. Discuss whether you should obtain basic demographic data of your respondents, like that would be, maybe gender or religion, age. Make sure all team members contribute to the process, so take different roles. And then at the end, create 1 to 3 slides that summarize the results. So create a survey and then send it out to people. You can make your own questions. And then, send it out, gather the results, and share the results with us. If there's anything unclear, you can ask your team leader more details about it. We're going to be having a team leaders meeting as well after today's session. Tomorrow morning and every day we have the daily Hundoke at 6:30 Central European time, or you can also do it in your own time. But we don't have that many weeks left of this course, so use the opportunity to join and share the time together in the morning. Next session is next Tuesday on being a companion of faith. So we'll see you there on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Okay, that's it for all the announcements. And just at the end, I would like to invite up Jario to offer the closing prayer.
Thank you. Please join me in prayer. Our beloved Heavenly Parent and true parents, God, we're so grateful that we could join together on this Foundations course to really share about our hopes and our dreams for our communities, God, for what you want to unveil in our faith communities, how you want to shape them to be a place of growth and restoration and renewal, that we can see our brothers and sisters inspired and filled with your spirit and filled with a passion to create a more ideal world, that we are supporting one another here and encouraging and praying for one another to go forward into our communities and create these dreams that have been placed in our hearts. God, I pray that you can be with each person here in their own area, their own passion, their own place of purpose, that you can work in them and through them, that you can give them your strength and energy, your patience and your courage to do the things that need to be done. God, we're so grateful for this effort, and we want to pray that you can utilize us to really mean a blessing into this world. So God, we want to offer this time to you. We want to offer our hearts to you, and we want to pray for all of our communities that we will be impacting. God, we thank you and pray this all in all of our names as Blessed Central families. In my name, Jario and Leena, Vincent's Gavin, a Blessed Central family. Adieu.
Thank you so much, Jario and Leena, and thanks again also for your talk today. The other speakers as well who have left. Okay, well, we've come again to the end, sadly, but we'll see you again next Tuesday. Before that, please have a nice weekend. And if team leaders could please stay on for a little bit longer, that would be great. Have a nice evening, everyone. Bye.
Right.